Welcome to the Pure American Podcast, the show where we cover what's happening in America, what we've been studying and thinking about, and what we think maybe you guys should be taking a look at and paying closer attention to. We're back from Easter break. Our uploading schedule has been absolute garbage. We apologize. Say you're sorry, Tristan. It's your fault.
Nope.
Okay, well.
You're the one that uploads them.
Hey. But on the real, though, we've been out for Easter break, or at least I have been, and so we haven't been able to record. There's been a lot that's been going on, you know what I mean? To make sure that you don't miss when we can't upload or if we go on a break, make sure you follow us on Twitter. It's Pure American Pod. Yeah, follow us there. Don't miss an update, and we might start getting snarky on Twitter and see how long we stay up there and not get banned. That ought to be great. But on the real note, also on YouTube, we've almost hit 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate y'all. That's our benchmark right now. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever, we appreciate you listening. If you want to see our ugly mugs, again, go to our YouTube. I'm especially ugly right now because coming back from the beach, my face got absolutely tore up by the sun. Great. I love being white. So let's get into today's topics. So, as you probably know, Georgia voting laws are a big thing right now, so we're going to be covering that. There's been a lot of misinformation going on about that, and so we're going to clear up some of that stuff, and then we're going to get and talk about a little bit about illegal immigrants, how the government's handling them poorly, I should say. I don't know what you think. I think it's being handled piss poorly.
Yeah, is that... I'll just ask that question when we get to it.
All right. And then Biden, like on a federal level and a state level or city level at least, the Biden administration on the federal level and then obviously like state governments, again, just been handling it poorly and honestly putting illegal immigrants before actual Americans. I'm not okay with that. So we'll discuss that. And then we're just going to be talking about some trans stuff that's been going on. I don't know why I want to talk about this, but there's some actual serious topics involved with that. One is completely beating a dead horse. And then to close this all off, the threat against your rights to your guns is under fire. Like there is a thick storm cloud brewing off the coast of our gun rights that isn't looking promising. And it is kind of scary, to be honest. So let's get right into it. The Georgia voting laws. Tristan, I know you've been seeing a lot of this on social media, especially like on our platform of choice, TikTok. There's been a lot. It's been called racist. The MLB moved their All-Star game from Atlanta to Colorado. Tristan, you might as well go catch that game if you want. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Did they move it here?
Yeah, it's up in Colorado, Denver, I believe. Which is funny because I think Denver has some pretty strict voting laws. And it's like the I want to say the percentage of Black Americans, because I think they were talking about the racism involved with Black Americans with the voting laws.
It's quote unquote racist.
Yeah, the percentage of Black people living in Denver, I think, is literally in single digits, going from like whatever like double digits in Atlanta, which you know it's high. The South in general, by the way, if you didn't know, the majority of Black Americans live in the southern United States, where I live. I should know that. And it's not a bad thing. I just think it's funny that they call the South a bunch of white redneck racists because it's just not the case at all. But, so they say it's racist, right? Here's what I find funny. Tristan, I have a question for you. Why is it racist to require an ID or proof that you're a United States citizen to vote?
It's not.
Exactly.
Because you are the person affecting the outcome of an election, so therefore you should have to be able to present your ID. If you are fine with presenting your ID to get beer, to a cop, if you did something wrong, and all of that, then you should really have no problem presenting an ID, no matter what your race is, at the polls to contribute to voting.
I think it's funny because everyone, as we're going to talk about later in the episode, I feel like we talk about it every episode, but it's sad. People are always complaining about how easy it is to buy a gun, which does require you to show ID or have some form of identification to prove your age and that you're able to actually buy the gun.
Background checks.
Exactly. People want super strict laws on that, but as long as it comes to voting, Just let anybody vote, especially for mail-ins. We don't need to prove that they're a real person, that they're alive, that they actually voted from a real voter address, or that they're an actual United States citizen. You know what I mean? And like when you actually go and read these laws, or like the actual law that they set down, a lot of it is actually a more ease of access for voting. Like, for example, I think they're letting places stay open longer so people can come in and vote. You know what I mean? I think it's like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., stuff like that. Just honestly to make it easier, but then, of course, trying to fortify the legitimacy of the votes, which I think Republican or Democrat, like, it doesn't matter where you fall on the political spectrum, like, you should be concerned about this. You know what I mean? Because this affects everybody. It doesn't affect it's not just for Republicans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me. But yeah, maybe you'll go out there, maybe you'll be able to catch the All-Star game. I don't know how big of an MLB fan you are.
I'm not at all. Your way. I do not like baseball.
Yeah. This is one of those things where it's hilarious to me because it's so clear and obvious as to how you can rally outrage based solely off of race baiting and misinformation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, they hate black people. What do you mean black people can't go? Are you saying black people are incapable of going to get a free, might I add? You can get an ID, I'm pretty sure, in Georgia for free. Are they incapable of doing that? I guess that's what's really being said. That seems pretty racist to me, actually. I don't know. But speaking of, honestly, racism or just discrimination, moving on past the quick touch and go on the Georgia voting laws, because there's really not that much. It's not racist. It's pretty concrete, and it makes sense. It's common sense, honestly. Moving on to another blue area, New York is going to pay its illegal immigrants basically a total of $15,600 who are out of work due to COVID.
Yeah, to each
one-time
one?
payment. Yeah, a one-time payment.
What about white people?
Huh?
What about white people?
Oh, no,
people?
I think it's $2.2 billion thing they're doing to relaunch their economy. $2.1 billion of it is going to undocumented workers.
That's fucking retarded.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not for, personally, I think the whole stimulus things, I can get behind it when it was really bad, but like now, if you were to reopen your economy, we wouldn't have people scraping for money. You know what I mean? If you were able to let people go back to work, nobody would really be in these troubles, or at least it would return to some form of normalcy when it comes to like money troubles, you know?
Yeah.
But this is insane to me. Like, that's $2.1 billion. Like, first of all, where's that money coming from? Like, that's a lot of money, and that's definitely not coming from somebody's bankroll.
It's coming from everyone's taxes, like everything else in this fucking country.
It is coming from someone's bankroll, actually. You're right. No, it's coming from, if you're in New York, it's coming from your bankroll. Your back pocket is going to be paying for people who aren't even citizens here, right? And I'm not saying that undocumented immigrants don't work hard. I know a lot of, like, when I worked my job on the grounds crew at a golf course, I worked with a couple undocumented people. They're hard workers, man. Don't get me wrong. But they're not citizens of the United States.
They don't deserve for me to give them money. Just like how, I shouldn't pay for someone else's transition surgery.
Oh, we're going to get into that one, too.
It's really not my problem to pay you $15,000. Right. And I know everyone's argument, like, oh, it's accumulated over all these people. I'm like, that's the principle's still the same. I should not have to pay your salary, or at least pay you a check,
right,
for not being a citizen.
Right. And all the progressive Democrats are coming out in support of this, which is not a surprise. Like, this shouldn't be a shock, clearly. I'd bet money that AOC is probably down with it. You know what I mean? But, like, I guess my question again is why? Like, these people, you're putting these people over actual American citizens.
How much is each, like, actual citizen getting with that, like, bill?
One-time payments of up to $15,600 to undocumented immigrants. So I think, like, either, it doesn't really specify family.
No. I'm talking about just, like, actual citizens.
Oh, I don't know if they're getting any money now that I'm reading it. So, like I said, there's $212 billion with the New York deal. So the 212 budget deal, whatever, to jumpstart recovery. excuse me, championed by the Governor Cuomo. And I think they're going to put some money towards it. You know what? We can look it up real quick. Because I would hope they would give money towards our actual people. Because if they didn't, that would be a little upsetting.
Discrimination.
That would be highly, yeah. Well, that wouldn't even be like, dude, like you should give money to American citizens first. I'm not for giving out money because, again, that's not smart in my opinion. But, all right, so what I'm looking at here, there's not a whole lot of information, whatever. Assembly gave the $212 billion spending plan to its final approval. So that passed through the state Senate. Addressing historic inequities and helping us recover from COVID-19. That's what the Assembly Speaker said.
So there's no numbers? I'm trying to look it up right now, too.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading the New York Post, and it's just a bunch of pictures. What is historic inequities? That's got to be... They got to count undocumented immigrants on that, I guess. The two main sources of revenue for the state adopted in the new budget will come from the legalization of recreational marijuana and sports betting. So they're going to scrape off the barrel of sports betting, the money made in sports betting, and the legalization of marijuana for recreational use. I guess are they going to...
That's going to make so many like dispensary owners not want to, or people that were planning on doing it not wanting to do it because they're going to tax the shit out of them. And marijuana is already taxed heavily in legalized states, but they're just going to add that more tax on top of it because they're going to have to pay for, what was it, historic inequities. Yeah.
It says the state is expected to collect more taxes in the year ahead, with high-income earners facing elevated state income tax rates. Dude, that's why everyone's like moving down to like Tennessee and Florida and states with no income, like state income taxes, because of that stuff. Like, what's the point of trying to get everyone complains about, the rich just use all these tax loopholes because they want to stay rich. I mean, yeah, you work for your money or you have this money. I don't want to face higher tax rates just because I'm trying to, make a pretty nice life for myself. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of wanting to become rich if you're just going to face, like, severe taxes? You know what I mean? That's why I say you really can't blame them for using tax loopholes. They're there.
My statement just still stands. I shouldn't have to pay for someone else like $15,000.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous.
That is, it's a one-time payment. That's more than like the stimulus checks.
Yeah, that's more than all of us having our stimulus checks. Like, how many have we gotten? 3, 4, all of those combined. That's still what, a third of it?
Yeah,
quarter of it,
something like that. I'm not very good at math. You're half Asian. You should be good at math.
I think it's like a third. Because I don't remember how.
What the most it was? What, 2,000? Trump put out a $2,000 one.
Did we get that $2,000 one?
I don't know. Let's just assume they were all 2,000, and there was there's like 3 or 4. That's almost a little less than half.
Yeah, so
a
third
less
to
than
a
half
half
of what this would be.
But I know it wasn't each one being 2. I think it was somewhere around like the 45 to 5. So right. I think it'd be about a third. Here's the thing that you could do instead of giving them money. Help them become actual U.S. citizens. I would be more supportive to that than just freely giving people money, especially when it's almost $20,000 a person. Like, that's insane. Bad time to be a New Yorker, man. This is why I don't live in the cities. And the reason why they probably bumped that number up is because, most illegal immigrants don't migrate all the way up to New York. Right. Well, there's, the big port of entry is in New York, if you think about it. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're on the coast right there. There's a lot of illegal immigrants up there, dude. It's not just a southern thing. Because, I won't lie. A lot of people think illegal immigrants think of, like, Hispanic people or, the Latino community, but that's just because, they're closest to us. There's a lot of other illegal immigrants here that aren't just that. But I still think that's insane. So that the budget plan, whatever, passed through New York with absolutely flying colors.
which is insane. And Cuomo, man, Cuomo's all behind it. First of all, this dude should be in jail. On a real note, but he's not. So, but that's so. Moving on. Speaking of illegal immigrants, right? We're gonna keep with this theme. Our immigration problem right now, we'll call it a crisis. I am more than happy to call this a border crisis right now on our southern border. We're having major problems. There was some reporters went into what's it called, like the facilities or whatever that they're housing these people at. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's like ridiculous amount of people in these, like they're all like stacked together like sardines under foil, like almost like tinfoil blankets or whatever, like the emergency heat blankets there are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're at 724% capacity. Something like that.
That seems a little bit over 100% to me.
A little bit.
Not a big math guy, but that's a big number. That's not good. It's bad. They don't let people film in there. They didn't even let Ted Cruz. I think he went down there one time and they didn't let him film it either. That's not good. That's horrible. But anyway, so there's a lot of this is a problem, right? And I think a lot of these illegal immigrants got the false sense of hope with now that Biden's in office, because historically, or at least the last couple decades, Democrats have been pretty lenient on immigration. They got this false sense of hope, so they all started. We all saw that big, massive caravan coming up towards our southern border, and that kind of dispersed. But a lot of these people coming through thinking they're going to be able to just walk through, and they can't. It's so bad that Biden is actually looking to finish the wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
To fix the gaps.
And that's then hilarious. That if he does finish it, all the Dems are just going to praise him for it. Even though they talk shit about it the last 4 years. It's inhumane.
Ocasio-Cortez had a photo shoot down by the border. Is she going to go do it with a smiling thumbs up next to the one that Biden built?
Probably.
Like, this is what's hilarious to me. They're so quick to call, like, Trump a racist, but Biden's about to do the same thing. Insane. It is hilarious to me, like I said. I don't know. Do you even know what the progress on the border wall is right now? Isn't it? I don't know if how much more they got to complete it or whatever.
I can look it up. I don't think it got super far.
I know it's there. I know there's segments of it that are big. You know what I mean? Like there's pretty built up segments of it on our southern border. I don't know what the progress is on it or whatnot, which is weird. So you looking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me is crazy. But going back onto the actual holding facilities, it is a crisis. And did you see AOC's like Instagram Live where she tried to say that if you're saying it's a surge of immigrants, that it's actually racist, and you're saying it's a militaristic thing, and she tried to merge the words insurgent with surge being like the root word of it.
I didn't watch her. I don't watch that shit.
I just saw a highlight of it. It's absolutely, again, that stuff's hilarious. And oh yeah, by the way, there was a poll put out, I think, that the majority of Americans, I think it's around 73%, don't quote me on that number, actually disapprove of Biden's handling of immigration right now. So that's funny. The right and the left actually agree on something for once. And it's hilarious to me that people are coming out on Twitter saying that they regret voting for Joe Biden because of stuff like this too.
So I got this. It's a weird chart. It says built 15 miles of new primary barrier where none existed before, 350 miles of replacement or secondary barrier, 221 miles of new and replacement are under construction, and pre-construction is 157 miles.
Okay. Yeah, because there are some places that already have some form of like a border wall, like, like a chain link fence with like barbed wire on top or whatever.
Yes.
Type deal.
It
Not
says
great.
There were 654 miles of barrier along the southern border already, and 354 miles of barricades to stop pedestrians. I think it's 354 of that 654 were just barricades.
Yeah, because, like...
and then 300 miles of anti-vehicle fencing.
Yeah, because, like, there's some areas, like, in, I think, like, maybe, like, Arizona or some of the places where it actually, the border goes across, like, some farmers' land, like American farmers, and a lot of them actually go out and patrol their own borders. And they'll set up, like, almost like they're hunting deer. You know what I mean? And they'll sit and wait, and then they'll call Border Patrol if they see anything, which is, that's scary, dude. You imagine your backyard going up against the border, and, like, you might wake up one morning, and it's, like, 300 people just walking across your backyard through your fields.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That's not for me, man. That's horrible. That's something I think needs to be looked at, and I think Biden's handling of it is absolutely piss poor. And it's ironic that Biden is going for the finishing the wall deal. And it'll be interesting to see how people react to it, how hardcore supporters of Biden, you know what I mean, see if they'll throw their lot behind him or not.
I'm telling you, dude, they're not going to swallow their pride. They're just going to be like, oh, yeah.
He's not Trump. He's not Trump. That's
he's doing it for a different reason. I was like, no, he's doing it for the same fucking reason.
Do you remember when the hype was building up for the election, and there was, like, a sound on TikTok, and it was all about, like, it was like, you know, it was like something Joe Biden, we don't actually like him, but it's like, but what to do, just vote blue, or get Trump out of office and vote blue, and it's like, it's literally, they're like, well, we don't even care if we're not going to research him. We don't want to see his policies. We don't even see if he's actually fit to be president. We're just going to vote for him because he's not Trump, which is stupid. It blows my mind the low IQ plays in the political spectrum right now.
Yeah.
When we come back from this ad, we're going to talk about, we're going to beat a dead horse. That is like the same couple we beat, I feel like, every episode, but there's some more information on these things. And, we'll get an actual military member's input on this, a.k.a. Tristan. So, yeah, we'll see y'all right after this ad. Hey, everybody, it's Fatty. I'm here to come in and thank our sponsors real quick for today's episode. Our sponsor for today's episode is Anchor. If you don't know what Anchor is, it's a free service to use to produce and edit your podcast. They got an awesome, clean site that is perfect for anybody that wants to get started podcasting. They're 100% free, and they're what me and Redboy use for our podcast. My personal favorite thing about Anchor is they will distribute your podcast to almost anywhere you can listen to podcasts. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Did I mention it's free? I mean, I love free stuff. You know, I'm a college student, so anything I can get for free is awesome. They also let you monetize your podcast with no minimum listener requirements. So if you have an idea for a podcast that you want to record, do it. Go ahead and go to anchor.fm, that's anchor.fm, or download their free app. The app lets you edit and record your podcast on the go. I mean, that's pretty sweet. Look, I won't ever give you an ad for something that I personally don't use or enjoy. So let me tell you, I use and enjoy this service very much. So get out there, let the world know what your ideas are, what your opinions are, and I'll see you on Anchor. Now, back to the episode. And we're back. So, let's proceed to beat a dead horse. Tristan likes killing animals, as do I. He likes to eat his, though. You know, that's just the Asian side of him. But, oh, wait, no.
I'm telling me you don't like elk?
I mean, I do too, but I was talking about cats and dogs. I'd like to apologize. I'm on your side for Asian hate crimes. I see you.
There's no proof of that.
Even though it's probably harder for you to see me physically, you know, with the I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead.
You're making her racist.
All right.
Kim Jong-un watching.
He's probably laughing. That dude's always laughing in all his pictures. He's always smiling. Happy fat man.
Yeah, apparently him and Putin are friends now.
I guess. Putin lost his best buddy, Trump, and now he's like, crap, I need someone else. I can't be friends with this old Alzheimer's.
Yeah, Biden also said that Putin was a killer, and his response was hilarious.
He's like, hey man, debate me on live TV. No. It's literally like on TikTok or on social media when people get, you grew up playing COD, right? Like,
yeah.
I did too. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, if you start to get salty about something, like in a COD lobby, it was always like 1v1 me, bro. And like nowadays, it's debate me, bro.
It's literally what everyone fucking says.
Like, debate me, man. Why? I don't want to. I'm not going to waste my oxygen on you. I still think it's funny that Putin did that. And Biden was just kind of like, His knees were weak and his arms were heavy.
Yeah.
So I wanted some insight on something from you. So the trans military ban, ban, right? Air quotations, ban, has been lifted. The Pentagon released new policies to lift the Trump era, trans military ban. It was a ban, guys. No trans people were allowed to serve, even though our buddy Tristan right here has actual transgender squad mates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've got 3 transgender squad mates. Didn't we talk? Yeah, we have talked about this.
We've always talked about this, but we have new listeners. So
to reiterate, trans people were never banned from the military. The only thing that was banned was military funding their transition surgery.
Right.
And so they had to. You're still allowed to come in as long as you can make it through MEPS. That's fine. If you want to transition from a man to a female or a female to a man, that's also fine as well, except you're going to be doing it out of your own pocket. Back before Trump, people were coming into the military, going through basic all this, getting their transgender or transition surgery done, and then getting chaptered out, saying that the stress was too much after they transitioned, the hormones were fucking with them. And so they were never banned. They are still allowed to come in. Like I said, I have 3 soldiers or 3 coworkers that are also trans.
Yeah, did nobody tell them that they were banned and they weren't allowed in the military?
Yeah, it's like you think someone would have stopped that. But it's as long as you're down to serve in the military, no matter if you're trans or not, then yeah, you can come in. You also have people who are civilians who hear other things and they're like, well, they're discriminating because they'll say that while you're transitioning, you're not deployable. Well, you're not. That's not discrimination. It's more over the fact that hormones can fuck with your body and your body chemistry and your mind, and then you're not thinking straight. I'm not going to hand you a gun.
I would much prefer you to not off yourself or you to shoot your battle buddy. That would be preferred. You know what I mean?
So it's not over a discrimination thing. It's over a health and well-being of yourself and the people around you type thing. Because when you're on a shit ton of hormones, you are not able to comprehend things normally. Certain things. If you are at war and you're getting shot at, I guarantee you're not going to react the same that you would if you weren't on hormones.
Yeah. And if you don't believe us, and when we say there's a little bit of a mental health disconnect within the trans community, just look at the suicide rate. It's sad that it's as high as it is, but that's proof right there. That's proof enough. But they issued a statement, and all these new policies are effective April 30th. So in a couple days, 22 days as of this recording, 21 days. So some of the policies are: the military will now provide service members a process by which they may transition gender while serving. So back to the old ways. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna wonder, so this counts as health benefits, right? That's what this would count as, I assume.
Yeah, it'd fall under healthcare. Guess
who pays for that stuff for the military? Who pays for all the stuff the military has? Me. Not me alone, sorry. No. U.S. citizens, taxpayers. So
I technically pay my own salary, but it just comes back to me during tax season.
But no, so tax-paying Americans are going to have to pay for this, whether you morally agree with it or not. On top, that's first of all, that's a huge disconnect between abortions and the transition stuff. Obviously, I morally disagree with those things. Tristan, I know you have different morals than I, but that is fine. But as long as it's privatized, you know what I mean? I won't stop you from doing it. I can't. There's nothing, I literally can't stop people. I wish all abortions were banned. You know what I mean? And the whole transitioning thing, that's from a religious standpoint. Both of them are from religious standpoints. But I shouldn't have to be forced to pay for something I don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't agree with abortions at all. I do not in anywhere support it. And then when it comes to transgender people, if you want to be trans, that's fine. I'm not going to be the type of guy that's just like, oh, don't make that your whole personality, but I'm kind of implying that. But if you're trans, cool, be trans. I don't want you to make yourself seem like you're better than other people, but it also, in this situation we're talking about right now, if it is against your religion and you do not morally, like you said, you do not morally support it due to religious beliefs, it is like kind of fucked up that they're gonna make you pay for it regardless.
Yeah. And so a couple other things. A service member may not be involuntarily discharged or denied re-enlistment solely on the basis of gender identity. I'm pretty sure that never happened in the first place.
No, I know I wouldn't put it past the military, like recruiters who wouldn't go into a high school and try to target someone who is obviously transgender. I know that that's happened before. But
right.
Like nowadays, you're not, if you're a healthy man, woman,
Apache helicopter,
yeah, whatever,
M1 Abrams,
then you are not going to get denied. You're not going to. They're just... Right. And the other thing that a lot of civilians are pressed about is because they're like, oh, well, the White House is the one that made the statement stating that...
pressed that is racist, remember, from that one episode? How dare thou?
Oh, the fucking words that those black chicks came up with.
How dare you?
But, so they're pressed that you see in, like, an article that the White House put out that statement. They're like, oh, well, it was Trump's transgender ban in the military. Okay, well, the White House put out that statement. The Biden administration put out that statement. So, no, they didn't. It's not a fucking ban. They were never banned. They're just retarded.
It's very, very, very astute way to put that. But, yeah, no, I again, same thing with, like, the Georgia voting laws. Is like the way you word things is important. You spread misinformation by how you word them. So like, yeah, when you hear transgender ban, you're like, wait a minute, that's discrimination. You know what I mean? It's not. It was a ban on the military is not going to provide the money under health benefits for you to transition. You're going to have to do it yourself and then prove that you are capable of still being in active duty. You know what I mean? Like mentally there.
Well, a lot of people are mad also because the enlistment process when going through MEPS, male or female. Mm-hmm. You know why it's like that? Because you have to identify with what gender you were born with. Unless you're completely transitioned. Mm-hmm. You have to, because I cannot speak. Obviously, the two, male body and female body, completely different. They need completely different things. Mm-hmm. That's why they need male or female, because you're under health care. You're completely covered. They need to know what they can give you.
Oh. A part of the new provisions or policies that the Pentagon put out in a statement is procedures will be developed for changing a service member's gender marker. Speaking of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Great. Add more confusion. Dude, you know what? You don't have to say anything, but me personally, I've been looking at, it's really the Army. I've been going kind of soft, like getting rid of, what do they call it, shark attacks or whatever.
Yeah.
Dumbing down basic or something like that. Like, I'm sorry. When it comes to the military, I want the most unfair advantage. I want the most battle-hardened, salty people out there fighting for my country. You know what I mean? I don't want a bunch of nice people. Mm-hmm. You know? That's the thing. Like, I think people miss the point. Like, the military should not be something where it's like, hey, come on, we're so loving and peaceful. It's no. If you mess with us, we're going to send a bunch of rednecks and run through your face.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the Army, obviously, knowing from personal experience, the Army's just gotten way too soft with, like you said, doing away with the shark attacks. Soldiers are getting their phones every Sunday for anywhere from, like, 30 minutes to, like, an hour, 2 hours. Because on Sunday, we don't do anything. That's, like, church day and we clean, like, the whole barracks. But other than that, like, I got my phone in the beginning, and then I got my phone right at the end.
Right. And
before I went to AIT.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know if the Marines should do it, but my buddies that have gone, like, I've had letters written to me. I was like, yeah, we still don't have our phones.
Yeah, that's what we did. We wrote letters.
Right. No one's going to know how to write letters now. Oh, yeah, and so then to round off a few of these policies, like to highlight the ones that are kind of bigger, the Defense Health Agency, I didn't know that was a thing, will develop clinical practice guidelines to support the medical treatment of service members diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So does that mean essentially like all the medics and the doctors on base have to relearn a bunch of different stuff to treat trans people?
I don't know. We have a transgender doc, a captain. There's a she now, but she's a captain. I mean, she's cool. So I don't know how that's gonna go with her because they just classified it as gender dysphoria. So like that makes no sense.
look, at the end of the day, if you're able to carry your ruck the same amount of equipment as your fellow soldier, who is, what do they call it, cis or whatever, I guess. I don't... Normal.
Oh, yeah. Straight.
Yeah, just a normal person, then I have no problem with you being in the military if you can meet all the standards.
Most of the trans people I've met in the military are all cool, too. It's not like the trans people you meet in Portland or, Seattle, shit like that, California, and like as a whole. The people here, they're cool. Like, they don't push their like beliefs or anything on you. They know boundaries, all that. Right. I wish everybody was like that, but that's just not the case. It's crazy to me, you know what I mean? And I hate the amount of times people are like, get Trump banned, the transgenders can't serve and die alongside with normal people. First of all, I don't think anyone would want to die. So even if it was a real ban, wouldn't you kind of maybe possibly be happy? You know what I mean? But never mind. That's a whole nother dirt road. Yeah.
I ain't going to go down. Sticking with the trans theme, though, right? I sent you that thing about Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. Or governor thing.
Yeah.
Or senator.
That's governor. So for those of y'all that don't know, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is facing recall, which is hilarious. And everyone's like, he's not going to get recalled. He shouldn't get recalled. So Caitlyn Jenner is talking about, or has started talks with some GOP people to make a potential run for the office in Cali. That's funny. That's hilarious. And
she talked with GOP?
Some GOP operatives, yeah. I think she's running for Jenner's running for the GOP spot.
Yeah.
Be governor of Cali. Twitter hates that, by the way.
Trans people hate that.
Yes. The same people who, when Caitlyn Jenner came out and had whatever the ESPYs, you remember, did you ever watch that?
Got Woman of the Year.
Yeah, Female Athlete of the Year or something like that. Or no. It was the Courage Award.
Oh,
at the ESPYs. It was a sports award. Next to like Eric Berry, the NFL player who literally went through cancer and came back and played and had like the best year of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not courageous. Screw that guy. That guy, what does he know about suffering? Anyway, so those same people that held Caitlyn Jenner up on a pedestal, right, above everyone else, is like, look, this is such a great, like, idol of transgenderism, whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Like, look at this advocate we have, this high-profile celebrity or ex-athlete. They're being pretty transphobic. So, like, one person says, the @ is Retro Time Lady. See, I wouldn't mind seeing a trans person as a governor of a state, but if that person is going to be Caitlyn Jenner, I'd rather keep waiting. Why? You want a trans person there. You know why it is? You know why?
Because she's running with GOP.
Yeah, and Caitlyn Jenner was a Trump supporter. It's hilarious to me that as soon as you come out as some form of right wing, honestly, and I stand by this statement, I don't care how much backlash I get, it's harder to come out as being like right wing than it is to come out to be gay or a member of the LGBT community these days.
Yeah.
Because the amount of backlash you face. You can attack me in the comments. I stand by that statement.
You know how Lil Nas is getting all this praisal for his music video and like his shoes and everything like that? If he came out as a Republican or a Trump supporter,
gone. Mm-hmm. Every single one of it gone. It's hilarious because so a lot of the tweets were like, how is she going to run for somebody who like fundamentally like does not accept who she is or whatever is what the tweets say. You know what I mean? I know a lot of Republicans who are gay or who don't really care if you're a member of the LGBT community or don't have the same Christian morals as I like to paint all Republicans or all conservatives with. Like, you're not a Christian. You know what I mean? But you're a pretty stout conservative.
Yeah.
Right? I am a pretty stalwart of a conservative, and I'm a Christian, but like it doesn't, you know what I mean, we're still both conservatives. So that's funny how a lot of people like they're morally against who she is. Like, how? In what way? Are you talking about the Christians who, in my opinion, a true Christian would be like, yeah, I morally disagree with that, you know what I mean, but you're still a person. That's how I treat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how a lot of the Christians are. Is that what you mean? Or are you saying just the Republican Party or the entire right wing in itself doesn't accept you? Because it's hilarious to me, like I said, like you could be black and you're a Republican, like we don't claim him or he's an Uncle Tom or whatever. What's it, Coon or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Coon.
Yeah, that's like that's we don't claim you. Your black card's revoked. Why?
Difference of opinion.
Yeah, why?
Ideology.
You can't take that person being black. You can't take that away from them because they're still black. It's not like you transition to become a Republican and it's like all of a sudden just Michael Jackson.
It's just because people take an accumulation of each race's popular beliefs over the past like tens, almost 100 years. They just take longer than that. They take all of that and then they apply that just to their own specific race.
Right.
Or white people, white saviors apply that to a
Right.
specific race, which if you didn't know, that is in fact racist.
Yeah. Speaking of another tweet, this one comes from a blue check mark, so we already know their IQ's through the roof, far higher than you and I's, right?
James Charles?
No, he's got some heat though. He's got a whole nother thing he's got to handle.
He's done.
He tickled kids. Hey sisters, Hey sisters, today I'm gonna be with Tommy. He's in the ballpark of 18. Don't worry.
14? Oh.
Don't worry. He's in the ballpark. Anyway, the blue check mark from Charlotte Clymer. Yeah, whatever. The transgender community is diverse in background and thought, and yet we're overwhelmingly opposed to the policies of the Republican Party, who have shown repeatedly they see us as unworthy of human rights. First of all, let me stop there. How? I'm tired of that argument too. How are Republicans against your human rights? If we were against human rights for them, they wouldn't be able to be out in public. It'd be like the Muslims, where they'd have to wear ninja outfits.
Yeah, they have to cover themselves.
Yeah, you can't. If you show your ankle, you're getting stoned to death. Literally, transgender people have every single human right available to other humans in America. And if I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
And don't bring up health care that they have to, be charged for a man's product when it's a man transitioning to a woman. Don't bring that shit up.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's so stupid. I hate that argument. But anyway, so the rest of the tweet says, Caitlyn Jenner may be trans, but she does not represent us at all. Cool. Since when does one person represent an entire group? I'm tired of that because
unless it's your king, we don't live in medieval times, so there's
exactly.
Hell, Biden doesn't represent all of us because America has a bunch of different opinions.
Yeah.
If he represented every single person in the United States, not one person would think differently than what his ideologies are. Everyone would be like, yeah.
Yeah, and almost half of America wouldn't have voted against him.
Yeah.
But I hate that too because everyone's like, they're so quick to throw the thing where it's like if something were to happen on the right wing, everyone's like, that one person represents every single right winger. But then you get a tweet like this where it's literally like Caitlyn Jenner doesn't represent all of trans people. Keep the same energy for every single other situation.
Yeah.
That blows my mind in terms of stupidity. There was a bunch of tweets too that were like, I don't want a reality star as governor or like this type of celebrity of governor. We don't need that in California. This is coming from the same state who voted for the Terminator to be the governor. You know what I mean? Like, you don't exactly have histories of the best governors in the world.
I don't even know how he did as governor. Like, was he liked?
I don't know.
It's probably a lot cooler state back then.
Yeah, everyone in California was driving Hummers probably.
Yeah, everyone. That's
motorcycles with 1817 lever action shotguns.
They were all benching 315. That was before it turned into a bunch of soy boys.
I'm pretty sure he ran. I'm pretty sure he was Democratic. I think he ran as a Democrat.
Did he?
You know what? Now I gotta look it up. Look what you did to me.
I just never heard anything about him, like how he was.
Yeah, I personally... Oh, I'm wrong. He ran as a Republican.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Huh. I'm always scared to say his full name because I feel like somebody will clip the...
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, clip it and be like what he said! But yeah, no, that's, again, the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing. And then there was a bunch of people like, you think Republicans will back that person to be... You think they back Caitlyn Jenner to govern California?
They said that same fucking shit about Candace Owens.
Exactly. You think it's because she's black. They're all racist. They all wear pointed hoods and bed sheets.
It's like when... Didn't Candace say she was going to run for office? I don't remember what office, but she said she was going to run for office later on. And a bunch of people are just like, you really think... I remember that one dude specifically on TikTok, then everyone followed him. He's like, you really think Republicans would vote for someone who is black? You think they'd vote for a black president? I'm like, dude, I knew a lot of Republicans who voted for Obama.
Yeah. A lot of people who voted for Obama who now vote for who voted for Trump, or, vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I hate that. It depends on the policies. That's, at the end of the day, is whether or not I like your policies or not. You know what I mean? That's what it is for me. Not what race you are, what gender. There are people out there who vote that way, yes. But it's a very small minority. You know what I mean? It's an extremely small minority. Yeah, I'd say the overwhelming... Like, the majority of people would say, well, it depends on the policy. Are they going to take guns away? Are they going to do this for the economy? Are they going to do this for the state? Yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like... That's a main thing when it comes to people taking office now or running for office is gun laws, is because, that's like the biggest controversial topic in America right now. I mean, I'm a conservative with very libertarian views.
Same.
On guns, obviously. But like, that's just the main topic. That's what gets everyone talking. That's what sparks a lot of heat between both parties. It's just that. That's the main thing to be asked when someone announces that they're running for governor, running for president, whatever it is. That's the main thing people ask on both sides. What is your plan to fight gun violence? What is your plan to protect the Second Amendment?
What a perfect transition. Why do I say it's such a perfect transition? Well, because once again, if you're new here, this will be new content to you. But if you've been listening to us since episode 1, you'd know we're about to beat, yet again, an extremely dead horse. Mm-hmm. So, if you don't know, Biden is looking, or he put in his nomination for this guy, David Chipman, as the ATF, like the head of the ATF. By the way, he called it the AFT. Biden did, so.
Biden did?
Yep.
If you call the ATF, you can mix up the ATF, whatever the fucking AFD is, if that's even a thing, then
AFT.
You have no right, or AFT, then you have no right to fucking start making gun laws.
So it's David Chipman, who, why are a lot of people nervous? Because he was an advisor for like a giant gun control organization. Like huge. You know what I mean? So, like, this guy supports everything probably just short of, like, confiscation. But he probably, at that point, most likely will. You know what I mean?
Like
He'll probably push for that.
Canada laws. I don't even know. Canada's not even a registration country. They just aren't allowed to have a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're allowed to have handguns.
First of all, have your own opinions on the ATF, I guess you could say. Yeah, this Chipman dude is bad news for the Second Amendment. By the way, speaking of amendments, Biden did state that amendments are not concrete or something like that. I gotta find out exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He said that no amendment is absolute. That's not worrying at all.
Hence why a lot of people are being censored on social media and everything. Your First Amendment don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm. He also said that gun violence is an epidemic. And it's an international embarrassment. By the way, we're not number one in mass shootings, if you're going to put it that way. I don't remember what country is, but it's not us. And then most of those gun deaths and gun violence actually comes from suicide, which that's a whole nother problem.
No,
not gun related.
No amendments absolute, so females, you're not going to be allowed to vote probably soon.
The 13th.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that 13th Amendment.
Wow.
If y'all don't know what the 13th Amendment is, go ahead and look it up. It's basically what gave African Americans rights after they were freed from slavery. So
Yeah. Great. So, yeah, no amendments absolute. Well, Mr. Biden, knowing your past, that means 13th's in danger. Mr. Urban Jungle.
He's going to bring in this new guy to the ATF, and then he's going to make one law, and then more stupid laws are going to follow, or he's going to make a law, then a state is going to make their own state law,
right.
And as soon, it's probably going to be fucking California, but as soon as this one state does it, then all the other states are to follow. That's why Colorado, the state that I'm in, is currently transitioning into like the same laws that California has for guns. One state does it, a bunch of them follow. Oregon's doing the same thing. Washington's doing the same thing. It's
domino effect, bro.
It's the West Coast that starts it.
Yeah.
And then it's everyone fucking else. So you're not going to touch the South.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, you physically can't because you will physically get punched in the mouth by something, not a fist, more metally encased in brass.
It's the West Coast, like over into,
right.
like obviously Colorado. I think that is probably about as far as it goes.
You're not going to touch the Mormons when they're guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you won't get to Utah. But so, like, one of the big targets Biden's going after right now, everyone calls them ghost. The left calls them ghost guns. Essentially, like, you know how people be like making their own like lower receivers, or they're 3D printing like pistol grips or something. You know what I mean?
The 80% lowers.
Yeah, they're going after those. So like they call those ghost guns. First of all, that's not even what a ghost gun is. A ghost gun would be like a gun that doesn't technically exist. So like the ones that they build in the Philippines in the jungle, things ship here. That it's like a recreation of let's say like a 1911 with no serial number.
So
or like a fake serial number on it that just literally physically doesn't exist in any form of like index anywhere.
Okay, hopefully YouTube doesn't take this down. This is a Glock 48. The serial number, which it's not going to focus, is right under there. That, if it doesn't have that, it's considered a ghost gun because it's not traceable at all.
That's a ghost gun. Also, by the way, if anyone
and don't mistake it with a heater. A heater is a gun that was used in a crime.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot. It was used in a crime, then it was sold, black marketed, whatever it is.
Let's say you need to pull a quick stick up on somebody. You go up, buy a pistol that's like super hot for like $15 for a one-time use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like even holding that gun or having that in your possession is like maximum jail time. But yeah, I think people are under the impression that you can like 3D print a fully functioning firearm. It's like if you look that up on YouTube, just the amount of them blowing up in people's hands will prove that's not really possible as of right now.
People have 3D printed like those plastic single shot ones, which they fall apart in your hand, and they're only for a single shot. But
it's a one-time use deal, almost like an EpiPen.
Everyone else would just go buy an actual gun,
right? Like I think they're under the impression, like, oh, do you remember the Key and Peele sketch when they're on the airplane? It's like, we don't get them Terry.
Nah.
Oh, it was like they 3D printed like these weird pistols, and it's like, we got these through security.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Legal.
I don't even know how people would get a gun, a 3D printed. I mean, yeah, the 3D printed all plastic gun, you could get that through security. But if you're bringing the bullets through security, like, how are you gonna? That makes no sense. Especially since now most security checkpoints, like TSA checkpoints in airports, they have like, that machine where you have to walk into it and hold your hands up like this.
I hate that because I can't fit into it barely. Because I'm fat, but get that out of your head, Tristan. Because I'm broad, my shoulders are very wide, so it's like I gotta like shimmy in it. But yeah.
Oh, construction workers. But fucking like, even if you shoved a bullet up your ass, it'd still fucking find it.
The prison wallet?
Yeah, even if you prison walleted a fucking 9mm.
I get patted down because like I'll have like a sweat spot on my back and it triggers the thing.
The only people that have a gun are just the air marshals on there. You can have your gun in your checked bag. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, I've done that before. But yeah, no, that's so his use of ghost gun there is wrong. That's not what a ghost gun is. So more on this David Chipman dude. I think he was a cop or something. Anyway, he said something where he's like, I've seen with my own two. Well, this article right here says I've seen with my own two lives. I think they meant to type eyes, or maybe he said it wrong. Who knows? I'm going to assume it's eyes. He said,
Yeah.
I've seen with my own 2 eyes what a bullet can do to the human body, and I fought my entire career to fight this violence and to pass reasonable gun safety measures.
And a lot of us have seen what a bullet...
Oh, I'm sorry. That was what Harris said.
Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What? She never been to war. She probably saw what a bullet can do to a body in a movie.
Was she looking at a cadaver or something?
And she probably saw it in a movie, and which movies are... That's not what... most of the time, that's not what it looks like a bullet does to a body. Yeah. A 5.56 does not blow through your sternum and go straight out your back. It's not that big of a round. It goes in, it bounces around a little bit, and normally it stays inside, depending on how close you are.
Sometimes, depending on what you're wearing, like body armor-wise, the thing won't even penetrate.
Oh, yeah, because most body armors are rated up to 7.62.
The thing is tiny. AA batteries are bigger than 5.56.
Because 5.56 is a 22.
Yeah, just with extra kick.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's lightweight. It's precision.
Like,
that's literally why we have it, and they're pretty cheap to make. He's gonna pull out the bullets again. Great. We're definitely not gonna get on YouTube now.
No, we'll be on YouTube, but this, I mean, it's not. It's a shitty round, but I mean that's a 22
range round.
Yeah, just planking rounds, but that's a 22. It's not big at all.
It's a 22 with a pointier edge and more kick.
Yeah,
it's like a pissed off midget.
It's literally nothing. And people want to say that that's dangerous. I hunt with a 300 Win Mag or a 338 Lapua.
Right.
Like
I hunt things. I hunt deer with bullets that will put a hole clean through them.
Mm-hmm. That's the point.
Exactly. Like
I've shot arrows through things that go completely through it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Harris also goes on to say, "What are we waiting for? Because we aren't waiting. Or a tragedy." Wait, I'm so confused. They got to be writing what she said because both of them can't speak worth a dang. But it says, "What are we waiting for? Because we aren't waiting or a tragedy." Then it's like ... We've had more tragedy than we can bear. The solutions exist. Both people on both sides of the aisle want action, real people. So all that is left is the will and the courage to act. I don't know how many people on the right, both people on the right and the left, also don't want you to touch their freaking guns. There's plenty of registered Democrats on a lot that are pro-gun. Plenty. You know what I mean?
Like my mom's side of the family, well, not like my mom's full side. You know, Hawaiians and Asian people are very Republican conservative, but my mom was the only side of my family that had like actual Democrats in it.
Right.
And all of them were gun owners. Like all of them pretty much carried as well.
Right.
So they're all against this, like all this bullshit, tyranny, infringement.
Real people on both sides of the aisle want you to shut up about gun control. Because both people, or people on both sides of the aisle, have common sense and realize that bad guys are going to do bad things, no matter what the rules are.
The thing is, you put in these gun control laws, infringements, I should say.
Right.
You're not going to be making all the citizens, all these law-abiding citizens that own guns are going to turn into non-conformists. They're not going to conform to someone coming up to the door saying, hey, we need to check your house for guns, if that's the route they decide to go. If they decide to do mandatory red flag buybacks, they're not going to do it. All you're doing is turning a bunch of people who just want to protect themselves into felons. That's all it is.
Right. Yeah, you could be a felon in these next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stroke of a pen.
I mean, like, all my guns are legal besides, like, well, I mean, even binary triggers are legal, but right. I know they're going to go after binary triggers, in which that would make one of my M4s or my AR-15s not be legal. And if they decide to make it a felony offense, boom, I guess I'm a felon. If they decided to come and check to see if I had a binary trigger, luckily when it comes to binary triggers and stuff like that, you don't need to register a fucking trigger. So right. It's not like they're going to fucking know. But I know that's where they're going to ban sales on that. They're probably going to go after suppressors, even though suppressors you have to go through an insane amount of background checks and a class. And
they're not exactly quiet either unless you're running subsonic ammo. And it's still not that quiet.
Oh yeah, no, it's not quite all. It's not like how you think it is in like movies and something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, and a lot of people are like, Biden said he's not going to infringe on the Second Amendment. Why are you suspicious? Well, he put Merrick Garland as the Attorney General. He's very anti-gun, and now you're hiring a dude or nominating a dude who is literally on an advisor for an anti-gun lobby, like group, to head the ATF. Like that seems pretty anti-gun to me.
And the ATF still has to. That's where it's kind of a gray area. Like for me and my thought process is because the ATF, yeah, it's a government like organization. Obviously, it's a government department, but they have to bat the NRA, and the NRA just has so much backing. Not only are they going against the NRA, they're going against all these citizens. They're going up against the whole entirety of the South.
Right.
They're going up against fucking Mormons with guns. They're going up against rooftop Koreans. They're
Amish.
They're going up against the Amish. It's like the ATF thinks they're so strong when it comes down to this stuff, but they don't have as much backing as pro-gun organizations.
You're also got to remember that a lot of the field agents that they deploy, you got to see, are they actually going to follow through with those orders? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because most of the ATF are gun owners themselves. Well, obviously, they're all gun owners themselves, and they're to uphold unconstitutional gun laws,
right.
Not unconstitutional gun laws that, like what we have now, I guess you could say, things that are technically infringements because any gun law is an infringement, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of
most of them have like binary triggers and stuff like that. Most of them like building weapons. If you make all these laws, they're not going to do it. Where are you going to go to? You're going to probably look to the National Guard or something to uphold these gun laws, and they're going to tell you to eat a dick too. And after that, you're going to try and go active duty Marines or Army, and they're also going to tell you to eat a dick. And you already know that the sheriff's departments, you already know that the sheriff's departments in a lot of these cities and towns, especially smaller towns, are already saying, they're just like, we're not going to uphold gun laws that are unconstitutional. It makes no sense. Which I applaud, because I wouldn't be fucking doing it either. And if you know if the... who is always in charge of, like, the sheriff's department?
The sheriff.
Is it... well, sheriff or police department is, like, captain?
The sheriff is the head of the police department, or the sheriff is the head of the sheriff's department.
And then captain is a police department. I want to say.
The chief of police. Yeah.
Chief of the police, yeah. But they'd all just tell you to eat a dick because they're not going to do that. For one, because they know that they're just a police department, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
They're going to lose immensely. And it's not even like, I know some departments are like, they're looking out for the citizens, but a lot of them are like, dude, if we try to go to war with the citizens, especially in small towns or anywhere like in the South or Midwest, they're not going to get anywhere.
I'd argue
you're going to end up with a lot of dead cops.
I'd argue that the government would have a hard time going to war against the citizens without, like, nuking its own country.
It would have to.
Yeah, there's literally no other way.
And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow so happen to go that route and nuke the country, go to war with the citizens, which I'm not going to be the one to sit here. If it was all-out war, like...
It'd be a short war.
Yeah.
It'd be a very short war.
If they decided to run nukes or some shit, that'd be, like, completely... It's not like we can put, like, gameplay rules into it. Like, hey, no Abrams, no A-10 Warthogs, no fucking Strikers,
You're assuming
no nukes.
that all those pilots and drivers, though, would be willing to actually drive those for that
That's
reason.
the thing.
They
wouldn't.
Just drive it. Like, what was the one dude that stole... Would he steal, like, a Bradley or something?
Yeah, he stole a Bradley, and another, like, LT stole a jet or
it's
a
like
plane.
you're assuming those guys wouldn't just turn those over to the citizens.
It's not going to happen unless it was all-out war, and for some reason most of the military decided to stay with the government. But I feel like in this time, if it came down to it, we'd get backing from, like, another country.
300%. We would need it, though, but 300%.
Because...
all the gun companies would side with the citizens, all the ammunition manufacturers, all the, the private security places and the PMCs.
Next thing you know... Putin's, like, sending in fucking Spetsnaz just to spite Biden.
You know
what?
what?
Yeah, fuck this dude.
Yeah, you know what it is the government is scared. I've said it before. The government is scared, which is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the people have the power, and you're scared that the people might have a little too much power. But at the end of the day, we are the entirety of power in the United States.
Well, we have been doing fine, though.
Yeah, dude,
keeping our guns and everything.
Yeah, the gun stuff hasn't been an issue since Trump got out of office. Like, nobody was hounding you about guns.
I mean, gun violence, yeah, that's the issue. But, like, all the social media shit,
right,
with everyone being so anti-gun now, yeah, it didn't start till Trump left. Or, actually, it didn't start till the talk about this election, till this election started coming up.
I think it's hilarious. I love to speculate. I love to think of, like, the what-if scenarios. And it's like, what if you actually do try and start another civil war? Like, that's just not going to go well. Like, it's just not. Because you know how many trigger-happy rednecks are just... They're waiting, dog. Like, I don't think people realize, like, how much... Some people down there are just kicking rocks. Old Bubba and Cletus ain't got nothing to do, waiting for somebody to do something.
Rednecks can literally just make whatever. They can make landmines. They can do... I mean, hell, diesel fuel and fertilizer will blow like a 12 by 12 in a fucking ground.
Yeah.
I would enough tannerite, too. Yeah, same. But it's like, it's just so ridiculous that they think that implementing these laws... They act like they don't know that this is going to make people hate him even more. Or hate the whole administration.
Yeah. And it's like, we're not coming for your gun. Yes, you are. You're supporting legislation. You're putting people in power who hate guns. You're clearly making it a main issue right now that gun violence is a big problem. But no one seems to talk about Southside Chicago or any of the other, like, very violent areas of America. It's usually typically
Seattle, Portland.
It's typically
LA.
it's typically only brought about on, like, terms of, like, a deemed mass shooting or, like, what happened in Colorado, right? Like, that's when all that stuff is brought about, not during actual, like, you know, gang shootouts, drive-bys, murders, hit and run, you know what I mean? Like,
they don't even want to look at the suicide rates at all. They just want to look at mass shootings and what was used in them.
Well, they clump that in, though. Like, they clump that in with gun violence as suicide.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
They'll just run it as one whole number.
It's like the whole rape scenario we were talking about earlier. Like, there's a difference between sexual harassment, assault, and rape.
Yeah.
There's a difference between suicide and homicide. You know what I mean?
In which, in this country... most homicides and suicides, with the exception of Kurt Cobain, is done by a handgun.
Yeah, nobody wants to ban the Glock 19.
Or Courtney Love. I don't know who did it.
All right, bro. Yeah, that's the other thing I find, again, hilarious. It's like, we want to ban assault rifles. They're not even responsible for most of the guns.
Assault rifles not even like...
It's not even a thing. It's not even a classification of a weapon.
It's not even the term. Assault is an action. I'm
going to beat you with the straw. Therefore...
It's an assault straw.
It's an assault straw.
Yeah, I made a video about that on TikTok, but it's like, assault is an action. Plug. It is not even... It's not... It just makes no sense. It's just a rifle.
It's just a rifle.
It is a semi-automatic rifle chambered in 5.56 with a 16-inch barrel unless you ran a tax stamp to get a SBR. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's just a rifle, man. And there are more powerful bolt-action rifles that can hit you from farther away and more accurately than your standard AR-15 platform can.
I can take out an elk from another area code if I have the right fucking scope. If I had that much of a powerful scope on it.
There's a guy on TikTok named like Rowdy Rogers or something like that. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Mm-mm.
He's from East Tennessee. Boy slaps like coyotes. He's ex-Marine. I think he was a sniper. He slaps coyotes from like yards away with one of his rifles.
Does he?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's bolt action, higher caliber than a little pitiful 5.56 varmint round.
Yeah, it's just, that's all it is. It's a varmint round.
Yeah,
it's just so absurd.
Yeah, well, just know, if some legislation is going to come through, there's going to be a lot of boating accidents.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of dead Fed boys.
A lot of sinkholes. Unfortunate sinkhole opened up in my house. And all the guns were gone. Luckily, I was able to narrowly escape, but all my guns are gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just get a vacuum-sealed bag and bury it somewhere.
For some reason, I was out.
Bury it off the coast of Marseilles.
Do you have any guns? No, for some reason, I was off the coast. You know, I had my boat, had all my guns out there, and unfortunately, my boat sank. Iceberg in the middle of the Gulf.
Watch them try to, like, say that you can only run iron sights or some shit. I mean, that's a reach, but I would not put it past this administration. Be like, yeah, you guys can only run iron sights. If you can't kill an elk from 400-500 yards away with iron sights, then that elk deserves to live. It's like, dude, I know snipers, like in the sniper section or from 10th group, that can't hit something 500 yards away with iron sights.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the whole 10, you don't need 30 rounds of ammo. Yes, I do. You're right. Maybe not for hunting, but for when Red Dawn happens in real life, and let's say the Russians invade our country, I'm going to want those 30 rounds or 40 round clips or 50 round, you know what I mean? Like, or the 100 round drum. I don't want no 10 rounds. Like, what do you think this is? You think I'm going to hit all 10 shots?
Nope. Especially if someone's shooting back, you ain't gonna hit all 10 shots.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You might hit 2.
Yeah. First, and there's pistols out there with more than 10 rounds. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, my what is it? My P320. It's an 18 round mag. My AR's a 30. That's only 12 more rounds.
Yeah.
And this is single stack. That's a 10.
And I can conceal that. 16, 18 round mag, 17 round mag, a lot easier than I can an AR. I almost said assault rifle because these guys are polluting my brain. But, I can conceal that pistol with more ammo in it a lot easier than I can with like an AR-15 platform with a 10 round in it.
That's what I do when I normally carry the 48 now.
Yeah.
But I carry the 48 and then an extra mag. So I got 22 rounds. But I mean, that's for self-defense. It's not like I'm going to be shooting someone from super far away. Especially, like, if I'm in a mall or some shit. Someone decides to start, like, just going at it. Because that happened, I don't know, this was a while ago. This was, like, 2015. Like, Black Friday, I was going to the mall, and there was a shooting that happened. No, I was coming back from the mall, and as soon as we left...
You need to stay strapped on Black Friday. That's just a pro tip.
As soon as we left the mall in Clackamas, Oregon... Like, we turned on the radio, and there was a shooting that happened.
It's like, oh, I was there.
There was a guy. The guy drew a bead on the shooter. The shooter saw him, and the shooter ran down a hallway and offed himself. I'm like, fuck, dude, if you're just going to off yourself, why don't you just do it in your house? And that might sound, like, very...
That was dark.
I mean, well, yeah, but, I mean, it's common sense. Why you gotta put it on other people?
It's common sense. Hey, if you're gonna flip your own off switch,
don't drag other people into it.
First of all, don't do that in general. Please don't kill yourself. If you need to go see somebody, go see somebody. But
second off, still don't drag other people into it.
Okay, I'm not supporting you if a hate crime happens to you. You know what?
I'm just saying, that's common sense.
Only half a hate crime can happen to you.
Yeah.
It's like they can only beat the left side of your body. They can't touch the right side. They're like Two-Face.
I'm just saying, don't drag me into it. I've seen it in real life. Don't drag me into it.
I'm just trying to get my lettuce at Walmart, man.
I'm just trying to make it to 40, dog. Like,
that's a pretty low. What, are you gonna die at 40?
Yeah, I want to be dead before my kids are in college.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, didn't you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna finish that joke.
No, say it. You could always cut it out.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh?
Oh God.
It's a very burnt, crispy apple, but
ashy.
Just don't roll that up on.
You would probably be able to put that in this, and no one would get it.
Tristan's parents are dead, by the way.
You should have just let people guess in the comments.
Well, now they know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the people on this YouTube are following me, so they might know, actually.
Yeah, Tristan's parents are well, your stepmom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His biological mom is still...
She was a bitch.
She's probably watching this. Oh, wait, who was? No, calm down. I'm going to have to take that. No, I don't know if I want to take that out or not. All right, well, it's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, folks, but...
I mean, we're at an hour 30.
Yeah, not after I clip out the breaks, but other than that, hey, we're glad to be back. I hope y'all like this video. Hit that subscribe and like button if you're on YouTube, and then enable post notifications. You know the whole deal if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to us via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever, you'll follow us on that, I guess. I don't really know how that works. Subscribe to us. Leave a review. Tell us what you think. Always leave a comment down in the comment section. YouTube will probably look at it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Other than that, it's been fun. I'm Fatty. That's unfortunately Tristan, or Red Boy. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.